bGraph has several coloring palettes useful in different situations. Palettes can be selected on the Instruments panel. Let's start with the default Min-Max palette. It colors all the nodes and edges according to their amount from gray to red. The smaller values get lighter colors, the biggest values get the most bright red. Let's follow the red line and add the reddest transactions to the graph. Whoa, such a big one. The amount of this big transaction is much bigger than the one we were following. As the maximum amount on the graph increased a lot, it made the colors of the first transactions become lighter. Now the red ones are transactions with amounts close to the maximum. This is when the target palette would come in handy. The target palette has more colors and its goal is to highlight differences between amounts. The green color shows values the closest to the target amount. Another palette is Address Reuse. It highlights the addresses used more than once. As the edges represent outputs, the Address Reuse palette colors only the edges. Now the edges are all light gray. When we load the next transaction, some edges become darker and get an emoji. Emojis are used to highlight reused addresses and distinguish one address from another. Let's give the name Joe to the address and load the next transaction. Quite easy to notice that Joe reused that address a few times. Looks nice. If you want to see the most recent and the oldest transactions on the graph, use block date or block height palettes. The oldest is the coolest blue, and the most recent is the hot red transactions. Click the Respect Block Order button to arrange all full transactions in historical order. Address Type palette colors all the edges according to their address type. It might come in handy in detecting patterns and entity boundaries. Here, the blue peeling chain in the center differs from the pink sequence consolidating change. Well, that is all about the palettes. Check out other videos about bGraph.